Okay, I have a question for you, and it's from about this screenshot here. So now this is Cyberpunk 2077. I've talked about it. I hadn't played it when it first came out, and I'm going back and playing it now. And I'm at that point of like I'm really enjoying the game, and I reached this point where I'm on a bridge, going to go walk over. I'm walking a lot of places still. And I know eventually you want faster travel, but whatever. We'll talk about that. But I just jump off the bridge because there's water below, and I'm like, will this kill me? I say first, right? But I think that's a question you always have because water's a really good barrier. It's a really good way to tell players don't progress, don't go here. This is the end of it, right? In a lot of games you can't swim, so I was just curious. I have no idea, right? I like to go in blind in games, so I really, really, really do like just don't read anything about anything ahead of time and go in. And you can swim, and so I swim over to a couple places, like the little pillars of the bridge, and then I realized like there's this whole big expanse, this part under the last pillar of the bridge. I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's some stuff over there. It wasn't under the other stuff. And then I died. I don't know why I died. So I'm just kind of curious about that too. So reload my save, go to the end of the bridge, jump off in the water right next to this spot, and then realize there's a way to climb out. So I'm okay. And there's nothing down here at all. And I like that. I like that. Now you're probably going to tell me I'm getting signaled wrong here. But to me, as a player, that signals to me, don't waste your time going off the beaten path like this, trying to explore every single nook and cranny. We'll give you the information when you should. So think of it like building facades, right? There's a whole bunch of buildings in this game that you just never think of entering. You just want. You know that there's nothing in there. But there's others that they make it clear of like, hey, if you could figure out how to get in here, there's cool stuff. You should get in here. And so that made me think about that of like, what games have I liked that have done that well, and what games have rewarded me from going into every little nook and cranny. I recently played an indie game, won't name it because I'm going to say something negative about it, where I went in every nook and cranny and it gave me all this stuff, and then I'm like, what am I going to do with this stuff? I don't even know what to do with this. And then all I did was melt it down into something that I didn't really want or care about. And then I was like, man, I just wasted a bunch of time. So I like games when they signal to me, this isn't where the game is. Go off, into the places that we've created for you. And I kind of feel like, how do people feel about that? Do they want to find something there? Like for me, again, I was happy not to find something. But do you like to find something because do you want to always get rewarded, or do you like to get told no? And then is there a game that does this well? So like, no, there's some games that do it really well with, including Cyberpunk, where they'll put an item that you can just see, and that's your breadcrumb, right? That's a breadcrumb, meaning like, hey, if you go up there, if you can go up there, there's something up there, and if you can figure out how to go up there, I bet you there's other stuff, right? And they're really good about that. And a lot of times they'll just signal that with enemies, of like, hey, if you go down, there's a layer there that you can get, and you get a bunch of cool stuff. I say a bunch of cool stuff. I still don't know half of what to do with the stuff I'm collecting, but I still collect it all. Of course I do, don't you? All right, but like I like that, and I like that trade-off, and so I'm kind of curious how first of all people think about that. Do you like when it says no, or do you like to have to explore every nook and cranny? Because like it's that. I feel like I have to then, if I know there's stuff there, even if it's just crap, I feel like I have to go explore because there might be something good. So I like to be told no, in the gaming sense, gutter. And then also I like when games are kind of clear about this in this way, and that they make the focus about being, the area that they are. I'm kind of curious how people feel about that. And I also want to talk about this is playtesting. Playtesting, sometimes people think is just the actual putting people down in front of your game and playing it. But sometimes it's also just putting out an idea. And all a playtest is you have a hypothesis on how something's going to work. Sometimes you need to build out a whole structure of it. Sometimes you have a wealth of examples you can pull from. And you can say, hey, what do you think of this? And you're essentially testing. Like, okay, what do you think of this hypothesis? I like the hypothesis that you should be clear to players that this is just transitory space that you move through, or you don't even need to go to. It will really just give you a ladder here in case you fall down here. But I'm kind of curious how other people feel about that. So there you go. Oh, and one last thing. All right. So getting Evelyn back. I timed it. 50 minutes. From the start of me playing to when I could do a save. Now, again, I know how the game works, so when I kill stuff, I go search, and I go loot, and I loot everything. So, I like that, right? Because I will go through, like, the club that I found the information on. I also kill everybody. Hey, because when we go to a doctor's office, and I looked up about the doctor, and they're like, oh, yeah, people really like this doctor. He can give you a bunch of things only he can give you. And he smarted it off to me. So a shotgun blast to the head. I guess I won't get those upgrades. So maybe that makes me take longer because I got to go search for clues. Because instead of talking to people, I'd rather just kill them. Yeah, it probably says something about me. I don't know. But again, people with their I've never known any mission over 15 minutes. I mean, you go to the club, you go to the doctor's office, which you have to go find, and it's weird. Then you go on a car ride, which you can skip some of, and then you have a big base, which you could just go rush the door or figure out like I did and did a bunch of sneaky stuff and kill people later. And then you have a scene at the end, and then you have to get back out, which is fine because it's easier. And then you could save. That was 45 minutes. I don't know.